Yes.
Vishal,
Yes. Once. One.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Please sit. Vishal, I have to say you got a very fascinating DAF.
Thank you.
You've got so many prizes. One doesn't know what to ask you. Let me start with flute. Which flute do you play? Bamboo or metal?
Sir, bamboo.
Bamboo flute. Do you learn classical?
Ma'am, I've started with the classical last year only. Earlier, I was playing it for recreational purposes, so I was playing Bollywood tunes and all. Now I've gone into some classical things.
You have a guru or you're learning from a music
No,
school?
ma'am. As I'm living in Delhi and preparing for the exam, so I'm learning it on YouTube.
On YouTube. Wonderful. So you marched in Republic Day parade for NSS.
Yes, ma'am.
On Kartavya Path.
Yes, ma'am.
So how was the experience?
It was a wonderful experience. Like when you march through those 2-3 kilometers and the entire what we are told is that the entire nation is watching you, and then you salute the president of the country. So it's a wonderful experience. It's a once in a lifetime experience. And being from a military school, it was, I guess, one of the last times I can go this close to the army, as I'm medically unfit and cannot join it.
Okay. I've also done the parade, but way back in 88, I think. No, 78, sorry. It's a wonderful experience. What time do you have to report for rehearsals nowadays?
Sir, ma'am, they called us at 3:30 in the morning.
3:30, right. That has remained unchanged. So you were best speaker in university debate on the subject of role of women in a peaceful world and importance of literature in human life. So you see, it's often said that women have no place on the table at which vital decisions regarding peace and security are taken. So how can they actually play a role in a peaceful world, because they are not in decision making positions?
So this is, ma'am, what the debate was about: how women, bringing women to the table can actually lead to a peaceful world. There's this new thing called feminist foreign policy, keeping in mind human security rather than national security, which is done far more better by women, as was also written in a book, Ethics of Care by Carol Gilligan. So we have taken it from that perspective. And other than that, even in climate change, we have ecofeminism, which says that climate needs to be and earth needs to be treated in a more caring way, which can be better done by women if they are in a decision making position. So, ma'am, that is what the basic premise of the debate was, and how we can bring women to the table.
So this feminist foreign policy, do you know names of a few countries which actually have a feminist foreign policy?
Yes, ma'am. I've heard about Sweden and other Nordic countries who follow feminist foreign policy in a more vehement manner rather than other nations. So, these are nations.
Okay, and your optional was, I think, international relations.
Yes, ma'am. Political science and international relations.
International relations. So, what are the chief challenges for India, as from a security point of view, as we start the year 2024? Everybody is saying this is going to be a very, very challenging year, both globally and for India. But let us stick to India now.
Ma'am, major security challenges, as we have seen recently, the amount of terrorist attacks and deaths in the valley, in the Kashmir valley, they have risen. So we have one security challenge there. Then again, we have elections in Bangladesh. So if the current government is overpowered democratically, then we might face a challenge of border infiltration and other anti-India activities, as was seen before Sheikh Hasina government took over. So that is another challenge. Other than that, we recently saw, like yesterday only, there was a piracy attempt and a ship was hijacked where they had an Indian crew. So piracy in the Indian Ocean and the Arabian Sea area. So it is also rising as a challenge. Other than that, we also have drugs, as we are at a center where we have the Golden Crescent and the Golden Triangle to our sides, which results into drug infiltration, drug smuggling. So this is again an internal security challenge. So I guess those are the four major challenges. Other than that, in the international domain, we have the two wars going on right now. So uh, maintaining a very, let's say, balanced approach, a balanced position by India in both the wars would be a challenge again. So I guess, ma'am, those are the challenges that come to my mind right now.
You did not mention our challenge at the borders. China is standing right there.
Yes, ma'am, that is also a challenge. But I thought the major challenges that I named were ahead in priority than China at the moment, as it is somewhat in talks stage.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Going by your details, you had a good rank in the NDA exam.
Yes, sir.
Then what prevented you from joining NDA?
Sir, I wanted to join the academy very much, but I could not join due to a medical problem. I have a ear perforation, that is a minor hole in my eardrum, which is technically a criteria on which I will be rejected in army medicals. So I was rejected twice. So I could not join.
Then, considering your military academy, military school education, and your curricular activities, why have you not opted IPS as your first choice?
Sir, after I came out of the school, after studying for 4 years for the examination as well as doing my graduation, I realized that IAS, the service, has a better, let's say, in IAS, I would have a better opportunity and to work in various diverse fields. IPS would restrict me to law and order, security, intelligence challenges, which are very important. But at the same time, I thought that I would do better in IAS because I have been interested in various fields during this 3 to 4 years in social service through NSS. So I guess I would do much better there. That's why I opted for IAS. And again, that was based on my limited understanding of the service. So that's all.
You have been a student of St. John's,
Yes.
Agra.
Yes.
Can you name any famous Indian national leader who has been an alumna?
Sir, national leaders, one of our presidents, Shankar Dayal Sharma ji, he was also from St. John's College. So he was the national leader.
Okay. Reading books non-fiction.
Yes, sir.
Any recent one you have read?
Sir, I'm currently reading The Ocean of Churn by Sanjeev Sanyal.
Okay. You mostly read Indian authors or foreign authors also?
Sir, I do not restrict myself based on authors, although I prefer to read on certain subjects only.
Like?
Like, I am very much interested in poetry, so I read around poetry. Then my international relations background in education that has inclined me towards books on international relations. So I've read The Ocean of Churn that I'm currently reading. Then I've read Prisoners of Geography by Tim Ferriss. So I try to restrict myself to these fields. But again, once we start reading, we are not restricted by certain parameters. If we find a book interesting, we pick it up and we start reading.
You don't have any interest in fiction?
Sir, I have an interest in fiction as well. I have read lots of fiction through my school days, but now after my graduation, I have tilted my reading towards non-fiction. So that's why I've written non-fiction, although I've read fiction as well.
One of the famous titles is Worshipping of False Gods.
I have not heard about the book, sir.
Thank you.
Good. So Vishal, as Madam Chair said, your TAF is very impressive.
Thanks.
And that prompts me to ask at which gharana of flute, classical flute, you are pursuing?
Sir, if I was learning from a guru in an offline academy, then I would go for a gharana. But currently, I am trying to gather information from YouTube, learning just the initial techniques of flute, like we have gamakas and means. So just doing that.
But in
Once
terms
I'm
of
done with
listening,
that-
which gharana you think that
Sir,
would attract you?
I would maybe go for Banaras gharana.
Banaras.
Yes.
And who is one of the most famous exponents of Banaras gharana flute?
I have listened to the flute of Dr. Rajesh Prasanna ji. So that maybe tilted me towards Banaras gharana. Once I would listen to more music, maybe I'll change my mind.
Okay, okay. Now coming to a more substantive question, or rather discussion. You are from Manpuri, okay?
Yes, sir.
And you also have provided your choice as in the cadre I'm seeing is Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, and Odisha. That's your choice, which if I
Those are my
is
zone 1 choices, sir.
zone one choices, okay, whatever it is, okay. But these are the states, no, which are beset with a lot of administrative challenges.
Yes, sir.
A lot of administrative challenges, and your first choice also is IAS. So, what do you think should be the developmental priority in these states? Topmost developmental priority, topmost.
Sir, first developmental priority of any state should be development of humans, human resource development. I would say, I would say vocational training and skill development would be my first priority, as we have seen the phenomena of jobless growth, that even after having certain amount of infrastructure we are not able to provide jobs. So focusing on vocational training along with manufacturing and providing jobs to people, which would set off a loop, a very virtuous spiral, which would automatically lead to other spill over to other domains. So I would say human development through skilling and vocational training.
Employability.
Yes, sir.
You say employability, okay?
Yes, sir. Employability.
Okay. But doesn't that contradict with the kind of model which has been pushed by the present government in UP? Because UP government prioritized, and everybody sees so, that law and order is one of the most primary criteria of development. So once law and order is established, rule of law is established, then most of the things flow on its own. Okay, and with your background of military training and all that, don't you think that that should also be one of the topmost thing in terms of administration?
Definitely, sir. Law and order has an important role as well. And once we have a good law and order situation, in investments flow in, even employability automatically increases because people are.
So that is why I'm
feel
asking
safe.
topmost priority.
But sir, I would still say that employability and skill development should be the priority. And the government is maybe planning to move after law and order towards employability. They have also done. They have also tried to open ITIs. So I guess they are moving in that direction as well.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Vishal,
Yes.
you are a student of history, geography, political science, and you have chosen international relations
Yes, sir.
as your subject. Who can be called the pioneer of Indian diplomacy?
Sir, I would name the first Prime Minister of the country, Dr. Jawaharlal. Shri Jawaharlal.
I'm going much older than that.
Sir, Chanakya, and also known as Kautilya, would be, I would say, the first pioneer of Indian diplomacy, as he saw the challenge of Alexander in the national sense, that Alexander's attack and invasion coming towards India. Therefore,
Okay.
his
So, what was his Chatushpad? Do you know?
no, sir. I have heard
In
about
what?
four.
Yeah.
Four upayas, Chatur upay, that is the
That is
Sam Dam
Chatushpad.
Dandabhed.
Samdam Dandabhed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is at the center of current Indian foreign policy? If you have to put it in a phrase, what phrase symbolizes Indian foreign policy to the best?
Sir, I would take a phrase from Dr. S. Jayashankar's book, The India Way. We have to uh, engage uh, engage USA and bring Japan into the picture.
No,
We have
no,
to manage Russia.
I'm not hinting at that.
Yes, sir.
I would say that there is one particular shlok in Sanskrit which signifies Indian foreign policy.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Do you know the full shlok? Have you read Sanskrit little bit?
I have not read Sanskrit, but I can recall the meaning of the entire slok,
Tell me.
which is somewhat like to the small-hearted, their family comes first, but to the large-hearted, the world is an entire family. So I guess that is the meaning
I
of
am
that.
nijah paroveti ganana laghuchetasam udar charita nam tu vasudhaiv kutum.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are interested in reading and writing poetry.
Yes.
Do you do that in English language or Hindi language?
Sir, Hindi language.
Which is your famous favorite poet?
My favorite poet is Ahmed Faraz.
Ahmed Faraz.
Yes.
Not a poet, he is a shayer.
Uh, yes sir, a poet
Okay.
in Urdu language.
All right. So Ahmed Faraz की कोई शेर बताइए.
One of his ghazals that I really like is, as I have it on my wall as well. अब के हम बिछड़े तो कि शायद कभी ख्वाबों में मिले, जिस तरह सूखे हुए फूल किताबों में मिले,
किताबों में मिले.
ढूंढ उजड़े हुए लोगों में वफा के मोती, ये खजाने तुझे मुमकिन है खराबों में मिले. And sir,
Good.
these are the first
Have you
two
heard of
shares.
Rahat Indori?
Yes sir,
Do you like him?
I've read his work.
Do you,
and I like
do
him,
you
sir.
remember any of his shares?
Not right now.
Okay. You have already mentioned about flute.
Yes sir.
Flute is classified as what kind of instrument?
Classified as
What kind of instrument?
it is a blowing instrument. It is a wind instrument.
Wind instrument.
Yes.
Name 3 more wind instruments.
We have harmonica, the mouth organ.
Okay.
We have saxophone. We have we have Shehnai.
Shahnai. Okay. All right.
Vishal, how are you feeling now?
Good sir.
Okay. You are from Manpuri, Uttar Pradesh.
Yes sir.
What Manpuri is famous for?
Sir, Manpuri is a small town. Its dal mot is famous. It is a sort of snack. So that is one thing that it is famous for.
There is also a political event that takes place.
Yes sir, it
over
is
there.
also a politically important constituency for Samajwadi Party.
Okay.
They have been winning there since a long time.
Okay. Why Eastern UP is underdeveloped than the Western UP?
Sir, I feel there are multiple aspects to it. One is the spillover of the NCR region. The second is the ancient regions, because over a period of time, being closer to the centers of power, it has led to development of this. Then the third is the Green Revolution, which was far more successful in Western UP than was in Eastern UP. So I guess these are the 3 reasons that come to my mind.
We have recently graduated in 2022.
Yes sir.
Okay, so this was your first attempt.
Yes sir.
Very interesting. Okay, one more question I have from Uttar Pradesh. Do you think there is a culture of impunity in Uttar Pradesh, and why?
Sir, there was to an extent a culture of impunity in Uttar Pradesh, because there being certain sense of because it is a state which is highly rural, and then we have criminalization of politics, which leads to money and muscle power turning into political vote bank and political power, which leads to a culture of impunity, because when we have the wrong people in power, so wrong people in the wrong place, which automatically would lead to that sort of a system. So I guess criminalization is the chief reason which leads to this culture of impunity.
Your father is a head constable.
Yes sir.
Okay, can you tell me why Prakash Singh guidelines are not being followed by state government?
Sir, there are multiple reasons to it. One of the reasons that comes to my mind right now is the lack of force, we have a very huge gap in the amount of policemen we require and the amount of policemen we have. Therefore, multiple guidelines cannot be followed because of this lack. One can be separating investigative policing from law and order policing, which cannot be done unless you have people who can be in both places. Then second is infrastructural problem. We cannot make forensic labs until we cannot make forensic labs throughout the country, until we cannot provide a policeman with technical training, we will not be able to have a modernized policing. Therefore, I guess these are the 2-3 reasons. Other than that, there is also lack of some amount of will, some amount of resistance, because police is currently controlled by the state executive, and which again providing autonomy to police is against the interest of certain sections in the government. Therefore, I guess there is also that resistance. So I guess these are the 3 reasons that come to my mind right now.
Okay, there's a sense of fear in general public from the police. What are the reasons for that?
One of the reasons, sir, that comes to my mind is one again that the sense of impunity, that the culture of impunity, because they feel police is themselves a part of that larger criminal nexus, certain police sections of the police, and therefore that leads to one fear. Again, we have a police force that is very less sensitized towards the progressive society that is coming forward. Let's take, for example, the trans section, the transgender section. They are afraid to even register FIRs with the police because they think that the policemen would not listen to them, as they are not sensitized enough to look at their problems from their lens. They still follow that sort of feudal mindset of not looking at transgenders as equal people. So that is one reason, lack of sensitization, and police, certain section of the police being a part of the impunity nexus. So I guess these are the two reasons that come to my mind.
Has government worked for police sensitivity? Any kind of policy is there?
Yes, sir. Although I'm not aware of a larger policy, but we have camps by NGOs, we have workshops by NGOs. My father was also a part of a workshop based on by an NGO, that was conducted by an NGO for Agra Police regarding trans rights. So maybe these workshops at a larger level would do, and including these sensitized topics in police training would also be helpful.
Okay. Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you, sir.
Vishal, you're reading the book Ocean of Churn by Sanjeev Sanyal. What is this book about?
Ma'am, this is a book about history of Indian Ocean and the role of Indian Ocean in shaping human history. And Sanjeev Sanyal tries to put it as a decolonized account, because in most of the histories of Indian Oceans, we start the history after the Portuguese or the Europeans arrive in the Indian Ocean. So he tries to shed more light on the period of time that was before them, before the Europeans.
Has it touched Chola empires?
Yes, sir.
Foray into
Yes, sir.
Southeast Asia.
Yes, sir.
So, since you're reading this book, tell us a little about what's going on. Why has Indo-Pacific as a strategy, as a concept, and as a policy suddenly become so important? And every country, countries which have got nothing far away, like Canada, they also have an Indo-Pacific strategy. Why is everybody feeling compelled to do that?
I would say, ma'am, the first reason is Indian Ocean is a very busy trade route. It is slowly replacing even Atlantic Ocean, which used to be the busiest trade route. And almost 40 to 50% of trade by volume passes through the Indian Ocean. Therefore, it automatically becomes important in a world where economics is leading geopolitics right now. The second thing is the rise of China. Rise of China as a power has disbalanced sort of the hegemony that was built by West leading and US as their leader, which again wants so to restore that balance of power. Again, Indian Ocean is becoming important, as was pointed out in 2014 in the Asia pivot strategy of President Barack Obama. Then the third reason would be presence of all these small island developing nations which are rising as a voice along with global south. So I guess this is the third reason. The fourth is presence of minerals, rare earth minerals and energy resources in the Indian Ocean itself. So these are the four reasons that I can think of that are making Indian Ocean one of the most chief theaters of global politics right now.
Good. Okay. So thank you very much. Your formal part of your interview is over.
Thank you.
Now why are you relaxing more now? You should have been relaxed like this during the interview also.
Yes,
And suddenly you breathed and you pulled back. You have to be relaxed throughout. A couple of interview techniques. We often find candidates coming with their hand stuck to their legs, but I think your hand gesture were a bit too much. You're on the other side of the spectrum, so you have to control it a bit, but don't become a robo in that process. Don't sit like this. But it's a little distracting. You're moving your hands too much. Do you normally speak in your voice level is like this? Because this is a strange paradox. The previous candidate was so soft spoken. So
yes, ma'am.
Your voice level is.
I am louder right now. I would be at this.
Yeah, I think you need to do that. Because
Not too much, just a little bit.
Little few decibels.
Maybe it's his NDA training, no?
Yeah, so because it somehow gives the
Military
impression
school
you're
also.
too
Military
aggressive.
school also.
You're speaking a little fast. These are some technique things. One thing you have to really pay attention to. You have to let the panel members finish the question before you jump to a conclusion. on what the question is about. Okay, I think you were trying to ask him about the political event in Manipur.
Yeah.
You quickly, you didn't want him to complete. You quickly said Manipur is very politically important. So just be patient. Hold your, your impatience a bit, and just let the panel member finish the question.
Yes.
Then take a few seconds and then come up with a reply. Don't anticipate questions, okay? But otherwise, I think you're a absolutely superb, excellent, young man. You have everything going for you. You're smart. You're well read, which is clearly visible from evident from the way you speak. You're confident, so you should be in the top few.
Thank you. I'll try.
And this is your first attempt. You
Yes,
made
ma'am.
it to the first attempt up to the interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Superb. I don't know if anybody wants
No,
to add
all the
anything.
best to you.
All the best.
You'll do
Listen
very
to
well.
what ma'am has
You'll do
said.
very well. Huh?
Thank you.
Just pay a little
Control
attention
it.
to these.
A little bit.
When is your interview?
The dates have not been announced.
Oh,
yet.
so a lot of
It is
time.
most probably in the second phase.
And how about mock interview? Is this the first one or have you done more?
No, sir. I have done 3. One was a one-to-one session with Anil Swarup, sir. And the second was with Ravi Kapoor, sir. They made a panel. And this is the third.
Ravi Kapoor is in Kapoor with C. Yeah. Our batchmate.
Kapoor with a K.
Your shoes, the gentleman may have to advise whether these shoes will
With
do.
laces.
Okay, sir.
The formal shows.
And shirt color maroon will do or light?
Light
No,
color.
it should be
Light
light.
color shirt.
White पहन लो तुम तो military background के हो white पहन लो
Light blue, white.
your suit color is nice blue color okay and what else
Rest is okay.
rest is okay
Do well.
Okay.
Very
Yeah.
fine.
winner के सामने आप practice कर लो बोलने का then you will understand that how loud you are
Okay, sir.
okay so you can soften a bit as madam said
थोड़ा सा.
soften a bit okay make yourself more participatory you understand what I mean by participatory no because as madam said that you have to first listen
Yes, sir.
okay for a civil servant listening is the best ability
Yes, sir.
okay
I'll do that.
We have
And,
not asked, sorry, continue.
no it's all right
No. So I was saying that you have not been asked on geography. Geography has been one of your subjects.
Yes.
You can expect questions in geography, recent earthquakes and this and that. Basically, your DAF and current affairs are supposed to be kept on track.
Yes.
So whatever time you have, 50 almost up to 50 days, you use it in brushing up on your DAF and relate it with current affairs.
Yes, sir. I'll do
Okay? All right.
that. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir.
All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you.